decision.
Mr. Miso knows he's wrong, but you're the pro.
This is Judge Judy. Paul and Carol Miso are suing contractor John Sterling for a refund for a bar he never finished building.
Judge, this is case number 135 on the calendar in the matter of Miso versus Sterling. Parties have been sworn in.
Mr. and Mrs. Miso, you hired the defendant to build a bar in your home, correct?
That's correct.
Who's going to speak initially for the two of you?
I'll speak initially, but Carol will add some comments.
I'm sure. And the total purchase price was $7,900.
That's correct.
And that was for labor and materials.
Yes.
On what date did you give him a first payment?
First payment was of $2,400 on November 28th, 2018.
Okay, and when was the next payment?
The next payment for $2,900 was January 15th, 2019.
When did the defendant start work on the project?
I don't know exactly the date that he started work.
Tell me what date you started work, Mr. Sterling.
It was early December. As we got materials into the shop, I think first week of December.
Okay, and the defendant?
Very pleasant. We were referred to Mr.
No, how did you find him? By reference?
I actually find him very pleasant still. We were referred to Mr. Sterling by our realtors, and they had apparently referred prior clients to him.
Had you just bought your home?
Yes. It was we had moved from another area in the neighborhood and bought a home about 5 years old, and we wanted to renovate it a little bit.
But you were already living in the home.
That is correct.
Prior to giving him the initial money, the $2,400, did you prepare a sketch or show him a photograph of what you wanted?
Yes, we did. And in fact, he prepared the sketch.
Can I see?
Well, first
may I see it, please?
As the woman steps in.
Just a sec. Hello? No, this is not stepping in time. Stepping in is when I ask you a question.
Okay.
Right now, all I want to see is the photograph or sketch that the defendant prepared.
So this is the entertainment center that we were attempting to match. I'll switch it.
It's a better one.
All right, so this is the photograph, Mr. Miso, of the piece of furniture that you wanted to be aligned with the bar.
If I could switch the picture, you can kind of see what we were talking about. That's the same unit, and the room extends further down and against the same wall, and beyond that little divider is where the bar was intended to be.
I see, and there is something there.
Correct. That is what's been delivered.
That's what was delivered that had not been there before.
Correct.
You'll show me another picture of that later.
Absolutely,
Okay.
when you ask for it.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Okay.
So it was supposed to match that and be complementary to that. Did Mr. Sterling give you an approximate amount that he would be spending for materials?
I don't remember a breakdown.
As opposed to labor?
I don't remember a breakdown of that.
Did you have a breakdown, Mr. Sterling? How much for labor and how much for materials?
It wasn't all that detailed, but the initial payment was to cover materials.
So the $2,400 was to cover materials?
Yes.
And the $2,900 was your labor?
That covered a down payment on the paint and some of the shop labor to that point.
Mr. Sterling?
Yes.
Mr. Sterling, I'm going to ask you for receipts for all the materials that you purchased. I just want you to be aware of the fact I'm going to ask you for receipts from all the materials that you furnished for this project. Good. Well, that would be a mistake. That's your business.
You're correct.
This is your business, because what happened is they want their money back. They paid you over $5,000, and they say that what you delivered was wholly inadequate. And I'm going to take a look at the pictures. If I look at the pictures and it looks to me like tacky stuff, that means you got paid $5,000 and you just increased your labor cost. So you should have bills for what you spent so that you can decipher whether or not you gave him quality or you gave him schlock. So now what I would like to see, because we're going to go one step further, it is your defense, and I quite understand your defense. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand it, that Mr. Miso, according to you, said you pick out the materials, and you did. And when his wife saw what you had picked out, she went crazy, and she said it looked awful, And you said, I had your husband's go-ahead, and he at this time is trying to find a corner to hide in because he wasn't getting in between you and his wife. And if he had to pick somebody, he was going to pick her side. It's not a hard scenario. That's why you should have the receipts for what you spent. Got it?
Correct.
You know, I've been married for a long time. I know about what? You know, where can I go and hide? Do you understand, Mr. Miso?
I understand.
Yes.
I do.
I know you understand. I knew you got it as soon as you walked in. Now I'm going to see a picture of this piece of furniture that he delivered.
I'd show that first.
Did you want to see the drawing first that Mr. Sterling had prepared?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I got ahead of myself. Let me see the drawing. Got it. It looks very, very much like, and it's beautiful. It's actually lovely. The bottom part of that, by the way, just the bottom part without the top fixture, looks very much like a bathroom vanity. I'm just telling you, it does. I mean, it's completed, and it depends upon the finishing.
Right. So
It looks lovely. And in the middle of that, are you going to have water, or it's just
No,
going to be a dry bar?
a dry bar.
A dry bar, consistent with the other piece that you had there.
Correct.
Great. Now can I see a photograph of what he delivered?
Yes. And if I can show what the,
What is in the other boxes?
I assume those are, we have not opened them, but we presume they are the
They're the
two
wine
refrigerators.
refrigerators.
Wine refrigerators.
Wine refrigerator and
What
a
are
small.
they?
They're the wine refrigerator. In the original drawing, you have a center section on the lower that's storage, and the two outboard on that drawing shows you the wine refrigerators.
I'm switching back for.
So it's just the center panel that was delivered.
It was the lower section and the refrigerators so that I could get the granite guy to come in and drop a top on.
But you were going to have to build the sides once they put the refrigerator part in.
No, the side panels for the refrigerators are there. They're in the picture.
Let me
You can-
see.
He's pointing to it right there. That's the side panel.
Could you put the sketch in such a way that I can look at both the sketch and what he delivered?
I have pictures of the other cabinets, too, that did not get delivered.
Side panels. What's supposed to be on side panels that's different from?
It's a finished end panel that is constructed the same as the doors. So it looks basically like a
And
door
what
on
about-
the end of the cabinet.
Are those supposed to be drawers? They look like drawers on top that I don't see.
Yes. That
Where are
basic-
the drawers?
They're right there above the doors. They just don't have handles
Are they
on
there?
them yet.
Now, Mr. Miso.
Yes.
What is it that you didn't like about what he delivered?
It was actually, if I can take you back to the first communication that we had, and I'll put that up, and I just need the camera to hone in on the yellow. It's simply stated, we moved into a new home, and we'd like to get a bar built that matches our entertainment center.
Forget it, Mr. Miso. My organization, I asked you a very simple question. I looked at the sketch. I looked at this. I see what's there. I see that you had a disagreement with him, but I want to know what it is that you didn't like about what he delivered. I looked at the sketch.
Yeah, that it didn't look like this.
That's not what they asked
You mean
for.
it was the color? Just a second. The color is what you were objecting to. It was supposed to be a different color.
Yeah.
Now show me a picture of the... Don't look at her. Don't look at her, Mr. Miso. That's the problem. Do you understand that's the problem? I'm not looking at her either. What color, Mr. Miso, is the other piece that you showed him that you wanted to match?
I would call
What color is
it
that piece?
I would call it...
No, show it to me.
Oh, show it to you?
Show it to me.
There you go.
Show it to me again. No, not that piece. Is that the piece in the other room?
There we go.
The photograph. The photograph. Okay, so what you're objecting to is that what he delivered was stark white, and this has a more finished, textured look. Is that what you're talking about?
A couple things. One is that it is a stark white, but it does. If you feel the wood, it's a very different. As you said. Yes.
Listen, he didn't specify the wood in your contract. You didn't have a specification of wood,
We did
But those
specify
two
wood and
items,
paint.
if it was to match, oh, really? That's what we're going to happen. Mr. Miso, what color is that?
I would call
Just
that.
think before you act.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They showed you what color they wanted. That is not white. What you delivered to them was a white. I mean, you're the pro. You're the pro.
Paul and Carol Miso say contractor John Sterling failed to deliver a finished bar they hired him to build for their family room.
Now, what color is that original piece that you wanted him?
Off-white.
What color is that?
An off-white color.
An off-white. Okay. And what color would you describe what he delivered?
White.
Okay. Now, did you ever have a conversation with him or approve a paint finish, a paint color?
I did.
Did you? I'm asking you.
I did.
And what color did you approve?
I said that it was okay to go with white.
And that's what he did.
That's correct.
That's what he did. So the customer gave him the color. Now, I wouldn't do that, and I know, Mr. Miso, you will never do that again.
That is correct.
Because you can go with white. It's not an answer. Mr. Sterling,
Yes.
I'm coming back to you, sir.
Yes.
I want you to know that Mr. Miso knows he's wrong. He just had to choose between which one was going to be beheaded. But you're the pro. They showed you what color they wanted. That is not white. What you delivered to them was a white. I mean, you're the pro. You're the pro. So if you're the pro and you say, listen, do you want to match that color, or do you want to go as close to that color as we can?
The contract does not specify matching the other cabinet. The contract specifies. That's what the contract specifies. The contract does not specify matching another cabinet.
They showed you this cabinet, Mr. Sterling, did they not?
Yes.
I'm not asking what the contract is. I'm asking you whether they showed you this cabinet.
Yes, I saw that cabinet.
And did they not say to, just a second, did they not say to you, let's be very honest with each other, just as Mr. Miso has been honest with me today, did they not say to you that they wanted it to be a complement to this cabinet?
Complimentary, yes.
Yes. And you're the professional. Now,
well, it's...
I am a trained lawyer. I'm not a decorator. When I try to do something, they call it a decorator. But I would never put stark white as a professional next to oak. I would say, listen, before you say you can go with white, why don't you talk to the missus? Why don't I make you a paint board so that you can take a look and see what color you want? As the professional, Mr. Sterling, that's what I would do.
Well, it's what I offered to do.
And so I'm surprised. Did you?
Yeah.
Offer to do a paint board? Did you? Good for you. And is that what he said to you, can go with white?
No, I offered to make samples or get things ready for them, and I said, you have things to match. We can match. I don't know what that finish is. That's a bought product. I said, we have to take that down, have that color matched. You have another color here in the house?
And you were talking to Mr. Miso. You were talking to Mr. Miso.
Yes.
Okay, so... And you don't deny that you had this conversation with him? I believe him.
I did not have that conversation.
That has to be a conversation. Well, when did you tell him you can go with white?
When we were looking at, we were in the family room, living room combination there, and asked what color, and I obviously made a poor decision. But there was no color palette to pick from. I mean,
No. I didn't, Mr. Miso, I didn't say there was a color palette to pick from. I said, he says that he told you when you were having that conversation in the living room. By the way, were you living in the house when you were having that conversation?
Yes.
Is there a TV in the living room?
In the family room next to it, yes.
Is that where you were having the conversation with him about the color? Mr. Miso?
Yes.
Is that where you were having the conversation, in the family room?
Yes.
Was the TV on or off?
TV was off, I believe.
Yeah.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You see, when people ask me questions about things, you know what my response is? I'm a television personality. Speak to an expert. You're never supposed to...
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Paul and Carol Miso claim contractor John Sterling owes for a refund for a family room bar he never completed.
Okay. Listen, you have a contract?
The color I painted that cabinet is the color of their trim in the house. That's where I came up with that color. I didn't pull that out of the air. It matches the color of the trim in their house. That's where I got the color.
But you don't do a piece of furniture to match trim.
Sometimes we do,
I have
yes.
a lot of houses. I have a lot of houses. I never saw a piece of furniture like that, a big piece of furniture that matches trim when it's on the same wall in an opening as something that you're trying to complement that is so clearly not a complementary color. Listen, you have a contract. You use the kind of paint that was in the contract. I don't think that there's a discrepancy about that. It was the color. The color is off. The bottom part of it matches the sketch that we showed. It does have 4 parts. It has drawers. He said the side panels are there. The color is off. I absolutely, completely understand why your wife is beside herself with the white color. I absolutely understand that, but that's not his fault. Mr. Miso, that's on you. That's on you. What do you do for a living? Questions about things. You know, let's see. What do you think about whether we should use this material for the pool or use this material for the sliding glass doors? You know what my response is? I'm a television personality. I have no idea about that. Speak to an expert. You're never supposed to make a decorating decision.
I've been told that many times.
So, but you can't blame Mr. Sterling for that, and you can't ask for all the money back because he did, in fact, buy, even though he doesn't have all the receipts, he did, in fact, buy what he was supposed to buy, the cooling equipment and whatever, the refrigerator, and it's all there. He did, in fact, deliver the center part. Who stopped the work? Did you tell him to stop the work?
Carol asked me not to come back till she discussed things with her husband.
Yes.
Okay, well, now just a second. So right now, he will complete this bar for you, and you have to pay him the balance of the $7,900. If you don't have, because he seems like a very nice man, and his responses to me were totally consistent with a reasonable contractor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by .com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, now, in this case, it's the customer's problem. It's the customer's fault. You can either come to an accommodation with him where he'll finish the job, and if you want to change the color, I'm sure that that will be an additional cost if you change the color, or not. But you're not getting your money back from him. That's clear. So if your husband says he's a very nice guy, he still thinks he's a nice guy, and I actually agree with that.
Thank you.
Although, very bad judgment to deal with somebody who's an operations manager, husband, when you know he's married to somebody who may or may not be happy with white.
I interview my clients much better now.
Good. Your case is dismissed. Either talk nice to him or you're going to have to eat the $5,000. We're finished. Thank you very much. Case dismissed.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
We've been ghosted for 18 months or more than 18 months by the defendant.
I couldn't really get a straight answer of where the finish line was.
I very much would like to just get my money back and go to someone that I can trust.
I'd like to move on. Whatever needs to be done will be done.
An old RV needed some TLC.
You pay him to fix this 35-year-old camper.
And I had to pay someone else money to fix those repairs.
But he has an age-old problem.
You're not entitled to $5,000, Mr. Pogner. You're not following the math.
But the body itself has not lasted.
Nobody's body lasts. Not yours, certainly not mine.
This is Judge Judy. John Progner is suing mechanic Miguel Ramos for performing shoddy work on his RV and leaving it incomplete.
Judge, this is case number 105 on the calendar in the matter of Progner versus Ramos. Both parties have been sworn in.
Mr. Progner, you are the owner of a 1985 Toyota camper.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you purchase this camper?
The year 2000 in Santa Cruz, California.
You purchased it when it was 5 years old.
No,
And
it's a
how much did you pay
1985.
for it?
I paid $2,500.
You purchased it when it was 15 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
For $2,500. And you used it for 20 years.
Yes.
Sounds like you got your money's worth out of it.
I put a new motor in it when I first drove down here. I bought it from friends, but the body itself has not lasted.
Mr. Progner, nobody's body lasts. Not yours, certainly not mine. So you got a whole bunch of use out of this 1985 camper that you bought 20 years ago for $2,500, but you decided you wanted body work on it. In addition to being very old, it's also damaged by something falling on the roof. In any event, you found Mr. Ramos. He said he would fix the whole thing for $5,000. And you said, okay. And according to you, you paid him in July of this year $4,500 towards the $5,000 bill to fix this 35-year-old camper. So I would like to see proof of all of those payments.
Right here. Each one of these is a withdrawal from the Bank of America. I have text comments that are validating these as well that say, like, on the 11th of June, I will call you and I've got money for you. Can I bring it by tomorrow? Miguel responds back in the text on, yes, bring it by, and I've been by on the 12th to pay him. So each one of these is validated. I have met Miguel's neighbors. Miguel has been over to my brother's family's house for Christmas. He has met every member of my immediate family, Judge Judy, and everyone had the understanding Miguel was being paid to repair my... Then why did you give me the price, Miguel? You're the one that dubbed the price.
Just a second. Don't talk to each other. I'm looking up what a 35-year-old camper is valued at.
Judge Judy, I paid to put a new motor in that in the past as well, so the 35-year-old camper has been maintained in certain aspects.
Yeah, fine. I'm not buying that thing. That thing doesn't show me checks. That thing shows me where you took money out of.
Okay, I've got a voice recording right here where I've called Miguel and saying, Miguel, I've got $1,000 or $500 for you. Can I come over and give it to you? Can I play that, ma'am?
Oh, sure. I could see that you might want to fix it for $500.
Hey, Miguel,
Absolutely.
how's it going, man? I hope it's okay with you. I want to give you $500 tomorrow. If that works for you, call me back or hit me back or whatever, and I'll meet up with you tomorrow and give you $500.
So I've got several of those, Judge Judy. I've got another one.
Just a second.
Okay.
I'd like to hear the rest of them.
Okay, I've got texts. That's the one voicemail that I've got saying that. But the other texts that I have, I've got them typed out right here, ma'am.
No, I want to see it on your phone.
Okay.
I don't want to see what you typed out.
Okay, let me find out what the date is then, and I'll bring that up for you then.
I've got $500. Maybe you'd want to spend $500 to fix it.
Miguel gave me a rate of
35-year-old.
$5,000, ma'am. He's the one that chose the price. He gave me the bid.
Mr. Progner, there is no $1,000 on a camper that they paid $2,500 for 20 years ago that was 15 years old when they bought it. No way.
The camper is now worth, if you look at retail value, ma'am, those campers are selling for anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000. They're very, very expensive.
Fully restored.
Okay.
Here's the text here where
Mr.
I have
Progner,
paying Miguel
Mr.
$1,000.
Progner.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Miguel, I have $1,000 for you to be around. Yes, definitely. I'll be here tomorrow. Got your floors done today. Mr. Progner, according to your complaint, he gave you a price of $5,000. Crazy as that may be for somebody to pay $5,000 to fix this relic of a camper that had been damaged. What you say in your complaint was you paid him $4,500 and you had to spend another $1,000 or $1,134. So at most you've spent $6,000, $4,500 to Miguel, and another, at most, $1,500 because you also say you have to rewire some broken lights that Miguel destroyed. Whether that's true or not, I'm speaking. At most, you spent $6,000. Is what you're telling me that the defendant did no work? Because you say yourself, when you went to pay him the $500 upon completion, and I'm not to fix it, I noticed questionable work and voiced my concerns. Miguel just claimed he wasn't finished yet.
Here's questionable work,
So you
Judge
said in
Judy.
August.
I've got one tail light, one brake light, and one turn signal, all split between both sides. I've got a vent right here that you can see light through.
35-year-old taillights.
You're not listening to what I said to you. He did work on your camper. At most, if I believe your complaint, it cost you an extra $1,000 And if you fix the taillight, an extra $440. So in total, you would have spent $6,000 to fix just a piece of that. $1,500
Judge Judy,
is for work
I paid Miguel
that he
to fix
didn't
my
do.
brakes.
No, you
My
did
brakes
not.
were the
You
main
did
thing
not.
that I
I
came
under-
here
You did not
for. I
pay
got
for that.
towed home by my brakes
Nope.
because my brakes froze up in the camping trip.
You're not entitled to $5,000, Mr. Pogner. You're not following the math.
Judge
You
Judy,
paid
I
him
paid Miguel
$4,500.
$4,500 to
Ju-
fix my brakes, and I had to pay someone else money that I already paid to Miguel to fix those repairs.
The same you did with
Miguel
the-
has taken advantage of me, Judge Judy, and needs to pay.
You're not taking advantage of me, Mr. Pogner, because you're not paying
Progner
attention.
is my name, ma'am.
You made an agreement with him to fix your camper.
Yes.
As you said earlier, don't speak now. Now, both mechanically and cosmetically. And you were going to pay him $5,000, and that included the brakes. You paid him $4,500. He did work on the camper. You say you had to pay someone additionally $1,100 to fix the brakes. So now you've spent, instead of $5,000, you've spent $5,600. Then you say a taillight doesn't work because of something he wired wrong, and you have an estimate for $440. That brings the total to $6,000 to get your camper back the way you want it. That's according to your complaint. You're not entitled to $5,000 back.
My camper is ruined by Miguel, Judge Judy. The roof is ruined. Here's
Okay,
the roof
wait-
right here with big holes in it.
Okay.
Judge Judy was supposed to install an air conditioner for me.
I used
He was supposed to
3-year-old air
fix
conditioner.
He was supposed to fix the oil leaks in the motor.
No, I
my
wasn't.
brakes were the main
He
one.
paid $10,000
The oil leaked
for a
off
shop
of there.
twice to get
I
that
paid
motor.
$15
Just a second.
for
Just
I
a
paid
second.
$15
Say
for the oil leak to repair in about 2 hours, Judge Judy. Miguel is a terrible person.
Yeah, I bet.
The way I met him was through Beth, his girlfriend. He had to get rid of Beth because she became too needy on him. He became a very aggressive person. Miguel does not pay his child support, Judge Judy. He's been hounded by Florida because of all of this.
We're not
Miguel is not a
supporting that.
nice person
Mr. Progner.
and has taken advantage of me, Judge Judy. And here's many
not here for
validations
that.
of this.
You want to show me a photograph of the exterior of your 35-year-old camper
Yes,
that you
ma'am.
got back from Miguel?
Yes.
That you got back from him?
Here's my camper now sitting in the back of the yard at the break place where I can't drive it
Just
still.
don't listen to me, sir.
Yes,
I didn't
ma'am.
ask you to say anything. I said just show it to me. So now I see it. Now I'd like to see the camper when you brought it to Miguel.
I do not have a picture of what it looked like when I brought it to Miguel.
I have those, Your Honor.
May I see it, please?
This picture here shows where he had a store that was full of homeless. They ripped the door out from it. They partied inside. They used the toilet like 40 times. There was all
Just a
kinds
This
of...
is not the truth.
Tonight-
Not the truth at all.
Here's
Not the
the-
truth at all.
If you interrupt one more time, I'm dismissing your case, Mr. Progner. Do you understand
Yes,
that?
ma'am.
Unless I'm asking you a question, if you interrupt again, I'm dismissing your case. We understand each other?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you have a photograph of the interior after you worked on it?
Yes.
Is that the inside of the camper?
And later today,
And she put my daughter on the couch with the tablet and the TV and went and took a
An
nap.
iPad. Oh, I thought you some sort of a drug. Oh.
John Progner claims mechanic Miguel Ramos performed shoddy work on his RV, leaving it incomplete. He is asking for a refund of the money he paid.
Mr. Ramos, is that a photograph of his camper
Yes, it is, Miss Judy. This is
when he
basically...
brought it into you?
Yes, yes.
No, not basically. Is that a picture of his camper?
Yes.
Do you have any other pictures?
I sure do. I have 4 more.
Is that the interior?
Yes, that's the interior. Removed completely all the flooring out of it.
Mr. Ramos, do you have a photograph of the interior after you worked on it?
I do, and
Just show me the picture of the interior after you worked on it. Is that the inside of the camper?
yes, that
After
is.
you worked on it.
Yes, it is, Miss Judy.
And now I'd like to see the photograph that the plaintiff just put up of the camper as it exists now after it was fixed by Mr. Ramos.
Beautiful.
Looks great. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
That's it. Thank you, Miss Judy. Thank you so much.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Basically, I did what I was supposed to do.
Make-
the beach and hang out in it.
And that piece of whatever you want to call him just got walked out of here for free.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Scott versus Hastis, step forward.
Daycare provider Angela Scott is suing her former client, Stacy Hastis, for an unpaid daycare bill. Stacy claims Angela is a negligent provider, and she's not paying.
Ms. Scott, it is your claim that the defendant owes you 4 days of daycare services for her 2 children.
Yes.
And Ms. Hastis has a defense. Her defense is you shouldn't be entitled to any money for taking care of the 2 children because you neglected them. So, Ms. Hastis, on what date did you bring your 2 children to Ms. Scott?
I don't have an exact date.
On what date, Ms. Scott?
May 15th, 16th, and 30th.
You brought them on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pay for them on the 15th?
No, I did not.
How much was the agreed price for the 15th?
They were there for 6.5 hours at $5.50 an hour for both children, so $35.75.
So you availed yourself of her service.
Yes.
On the 15th. You didn't pay for it.
I was told I could pay all at the end of the week.
But we're in court now, so now not what you were told. Now we're in court, and we're going to figure out how much you owe and how much you're going to pay. Children, $35.75, and we're satisfied sufficiently to bring them back on the 16th, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you brought them back on the 16th. And how many hours did you work on the 16th?
From 9:33 in the morning to 1:50 for a total of $23.50.
Now, there is a long gap between May 16th and May 30th. What happened, Ms. Hastis?
On the 15th, I brought them back. Everything seemed to be fine.
No, listen to me. I don't want to hear that you were not satisfied, that you had concerns about her care of the children or anything else about the 15th. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you were any sort of a mother, if you had sufficient concerns, you wouldn't have brought them back on the 16th, which you did. So you owe her $35.75 for the 15th. Now, having brought your children back on the 16th, I am asking you what happened between the 16th and the 30th, because you don't deny that you brought the children back on the 30th, which means if you were any sort of a mother, if you had legitimate concerns about the safety of your children, on the 16th, you wouldn't have brought them back on the 30th. So clearly, you owe for the 16th, which is $23.50. My question to you is, children, between the 16th and the 30th.
The 16th, my mother picked my kids up, and Miss Angela Scott brought my mom the wrong child.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your Honor, she never mentioned that I neglected her.
She's paying for the steak she
I
ate.
shouldn't have to mention that. You take a nap. You don't get to take a nap while you watch kids.
I didn't take a nap while I watched kids.
My 5-year-old's in the back. You can talk to her.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Daycare provider Angela Scott says former client Stacy Hastis owes for an unpaid daycare bill. Stacy claims Angela doesn't deserve to be paid.
Now, what happened between the 16th and the 30th?
The 16th, my mother picked my kids up, and Miss Angela Scott brought my mom the wrong child.
Well, that would have suggested to me, as a normal mother, you, not your mother, you, normal mother, she brought my mother the wrong child. I may not, just a second, I'm not bringing my kids back there again. But you brought them back on the 30th.
Because I gave her the benefit of the doubt.
Just a second, that's fine, just a second. You gave her the benefit of the doubt, so you owe the money for the 16th. Now, you gave her the benefit of the doubt, and despite the fact that you had other concerns about her care on the 15th and 16th, you brought your children back on the 30th. And how many hours were your children there on the 30th?
I'm not sure.
How many hours were they there on the 30th?
3 1/4.
How much?
It's right around $18.
Now, what happened on the 30th, Ms. Hastis? Because after the 30th, then you did not bring your children back there anymore.
Correct.
Correct? Okay. And you left your children there for 3 hours. Where did you go during those 3 hours?
I worked.
Okay, so far you owe for the 15th, you owe for the 16th. Now, you want to tell me why you don't owe for the 30th?
I don't owe her anything.
Oh, yes, you do. I
just
explained to you that you ate the steak. You went to the restaurant, you ate the steak. You didn't return the steak and say, I don't like the way this tastes. You ate it, and then you said, you know what? I've had better steak. I'm not paying for it. You ate the steak on the 15th. You ate the steak on the 16th. And you ate the steak enough so that you brought the kids back there on the 30th for another steak. Now, all I'm asking you is you do owe her for the 15th and 16th. So now you're going to explain to me why you think you don't owe her for the 30th. I've already ruled on the 15th and 16th because you ate the steak. Now, if you have some compelling reason, because you didn't bring your children back after the 30th, if you have some compelling reason, that I'll hear you, but you are going to pay for the 2 days when you ate the steak. The 30th is what we're talking about. 30th.
I picked my daughter up, and as every mother, you ask your kid what they did that day. She told me that Angie put the kids in bed, put my daughter on the couch with the tablet and the TV, and went and took a nap.
You're the one
I'm not paying anybody to neglect my children. If you don't watch the kids, you shouldn't get money for saying you watch the kids. And you, as a daycare, you don't go lay down and take a nap.
I would like to know what a tablet is.
An iPad.
An iPad. Oh, I thought you some sort of a drug. Oh.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Who takes care of your children now?
I do. I had to quit my job not being able to find proper care, and I didn't trust to leave them with anybody anymore. So I quit my job to stay home with my kids.
What's wrong with your mother?
My mother works.
I don't understand. She owes you $77.25. Why are you suing her for $787?
In my parent handbook, it's $5 a day late fees. She said she'd be there June 2nd with a check. So late fees started June 3rd when she didn't show up to pay me.
$77.25. Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
That I neglected her.
She's paying for the steak she ate.
I shouldn't have to. May I say something? You take a nap. You don't get to take a nap while you watch kids.
I didn't take a nap while I watched your kids.
My 5-year-old's in the back. You can talk to her.
Listen to me very carefully. And you too. If your daughter said after she had a conversation with you, my mother told me I was given the wrong child at daycare, and therefore this is not the kind of place that I want for my children to be cared for. I'm speaking. Try putting on your listening ears. Then I would say, fine, I may listen to that. But she ate the steak, and not only did she eat the steak, but she brought the children back on the 30th. And I don't care what the reason was, whether the reason was she had to go to work. What?
She had no choice, Your Honor.
She had no choice. If there's something wrong with you, that's my judgment. Goodbye.
Your Honor.
So excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He forged my son's signature.
I'm waiting for them to finish lying to you.
He never signed an agreement.
He agreed to it.
But you signed it.
Next Judge Judy.
I don't think she deserves a dime. I shouldn't have to pay someone to neglect my children.
We do stuff with the kids every day.
Well, who comes home and tells me she went and took a nap? You don't take a nap when you're watching someone else's kids.
I didn't take a nap while her kid was there.
When I went to pick the children up, the babysitter took a long time to get the door, which concerned me.
She never even voiced a complaint to me about anything.
When she finally did come to the door, she tried to give me a different infant, and I said that that one wasn't mine.
I've never given anyone the wrong child. The days that they were there, my kids were the only other ones there, so I have no idea what she's even talking about.
Make sure you check everything out before. Otherwise, you could end up with someone neglecting your kids.
Everyone that meets me always comes, meets my staff, looks around, and everyone's happy with it.
I'm asking you questions. It's going to get uglier.
A trucker takes a spin with the company credit card.
He said you took his money.
He admitted that he had done it.
But his luck ran out at a casino.
There were 3 withdrawals that day.
I told him I bought 3 gaming tickets.
The refrigerated trailer ran out of fuel because he was in gambling.
You know that I think that you're a thief.
This is Judge Judy. Trucking company owner Michael Scharbach is suing making unauthorized charges on a company credit card.
Judge, this is case number 124 on the calendar in the matter of Scharbach versus Harrell.
Thank you, Bird. Mr. Scharbach, you at one point had a trucking company.
Still do.
And according to your complaint, at some point, you'll tell me when, you employed the defendant as a driver.
That's correct.
It is your claim that he misused a company credit card that you had given him to be used for business purposes in a trip that he was making, and it is your claim that he made charges on that when he was at a casino in 2 different states. The defendant said he personally only used the card for business expenses when the truck broke down during the course of the journey, and that when you questioned him subsequently about the amounts, because the amounts were large at the casino, he discovered that he no longer had the card and it must have been either lost or stolen. That's your answer. Correct, sir?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, let's have the dates, Mr. Scharbach, of the employment and the date of this trip.
His employment began on August 18th of this year.
What year?
This year.
And when did it terminate?
It terminated on September, I believe it was 22nd, when I paid him his last payment.
What was that? What was that salary that you paid him on September 22nd?
It's here in the bank statement. It was $800 and $600, 2 different payments.
And that was for jobs that he did for you?
That was for driving and delivering the loads.
On what date or dates do you allege that he made these unauthorized charges on your credit card? Now, you gave him a credit card when he started to work in August.
Right, it's a
debit card. That was a business credit card.
It's a debit card to my account. Because when they're on the road, if they have a breakdown, need a tire, that kind of stuff, they got to have a card because they won't accept one over the phone.
And on what dates was he making this run when he used the card, according to you, for unauthorized charges?
Started on the 16th.
Just a second. And look at your statement and tell me where that unauthorized debit was made and at what place.
It was made at the Route 66 casino in Albuquerque, New Mexico. There were 3 withdrawals that day.
And what were the 3 withdrawals?
One was $313. The other 2 were $416.50 each.
Pretty odd numbers.
Yeah, well, there's a story behind that if you would like to hear what he said.
I'm dying to hear what he said.
Okay. He was supposed to
You
deliver...
confronted him about these charges.
I most certainly did.
And this is at the Route 66 casino.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you ever at the Route 66 casino in Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Yes. The truck stop.
Look at me. That's a yes.
Yes.
Now, he's going to tell me what you told him when confronted about these charges at the casino. Go.
Okay. When he finally called me, because I thought he had delivered Monday night like he was supposed to, because he wasn't answering his phone, he said that he had lost the key to the truck and had locked his phone inside, and he didn't remember my number. I know I knew his wife's number, and she had my number, but he called me Tuesday night, and the story he told me was that he had found the key about 10 feet away from the truck, a day and a half later.
What were the charges for?
He told me that there was like a mechanic in a white pickup that was driving around the lot fixing different trucks, which is common. And he said he asked that mechanic if he could get him a key. And he said the mechanic said, yes, it's $400. So he says he got $400 out of the casino. Well, the whole in that statement is the first withdrawal from the casino was $313. So if he had to give the guy $400 for a key, why did he draw $313?
Just a second. So is what you're telling him, Mr. Harrell, is all of these charges were related to the truck?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okie dokie. Did you get any receipts from any of those people?
If I may clarify, it
Well, you're
wasn't
in
Tuesday that I
business.
called him. It was Monday before my delivery.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. It was Tuesday.
It was
Mr.
absolutely
Harrell,
before the
Mr.
delivery.
Mr. Harrell, I want you to pay careful attention to me. I read your answer, and at some point you said to your employer, oops, those aren't my charges. I don't have the card. I must have lost it, or it was stolen.
I never said it was stolen.
Or lost.
Yes.
Okay, that's what you said in your answer, because you said, I told him that those weren't my charges. I then realized I didn't have the card, and I must have left it somewhere.
In
He
Oklahoma.
told me not to worry about it. What?
In Oklahoma. I didn't leave it in Albuquerque.
It was then I realized I didn't have the card and that it must have been left somewhere. He told me not to worry because he would report the car stolen and get the funds back through his bank. That's what you wrote in your answer. That's what you swore to, sir. So there must have been some charges on the debit card that you disputed, that you said, those aren't my charges. I lost the card and somebody knew the PIN number in order to get into it, because you needed a PIN number, right?
No.
Yes,
you didn't need it. All you needed
No,
was
you
the
did not.
card.
To draw from an ATM.
It was ran credit. I didn't draw money out. I made a purchase.
Oh, you lie.
What did you purchase? What did...
I bought
don't
I
think.
purchased
Listen
a
to
gaming
me.
ticket, which is not
A
cash.
gaming ticket.
Correct. and that's-
Just a second. I'm asking you questions. It's going to get uglier. You purchased a gaming ticket. Well, that had nothing to do with the truck. And how much was the gaming ticket?
$300.
You know that I think that you're a thief. You may be a thief with a jacket and a tie, but did you tell your employer that you purchased a gaming ticket for $300?
Yes.
No.
Interesting. So tell me at what point that you told him that you purchased a gaming ticket, because you needed a PIN number to take money out of an ATM. Tell me, I'm looking at your answer. When did you tell him that you had, in fact, done some spending at the casino?
Monday or probably around noon. I told him I bought 3 gaming tickets to pay for
Three gaming tickets?
Yes, because the mobile mechanic was the one that told me I could do that because he required cash. He would not take a card. But he said, if you buy the gaming ticket, I will take it and cash it in.
Oh, run this by me again. I love it. The mechanic from whom you do not have a receipt
Or a name.
told you to buy a gaming ticket. And what did you do with the gaming ticket?
I took it to him.
Don't look over there.
I gave it.
And you spent $300 for it.
Yes.
What else did you spend on the card?
Nothing.
Well, then why would it be relevant, sir? Why would it be relevant that you told him that you didn't have the card if you didn't spend anything on the card? Because if it was used at ATMs, if what the unauthorized purchases, which you said you didn't make, except for this gaming ticket, everything else came out of an ATM, which required a PIN number. So how many withdrawals did you make from the ATM using a PIN number?
None.
None.
Correct.
Okay. Now, so what do we have on your ledger from your debit card that he had use of during that period of time? 15th, 16th. Read it to me, starting with the date.
September 15th at the Route 66 Casino. $314.
Okay, how much?
And 95 cents, excuse me.
And was that from the ATM?
Yes. And then also Route 66 Casino on the same date, $416.95 or $18.95.
Okay, very good. 9/15. Are there any other charges after the 15th? Now, he already said he purchased a gaming card for $300.
Yeah, I'm going to show you one because when he was talking to me, he says it was on Monday. It was on Tuesday because while he was talking to me, the refrigerated trailer ran out of fuel. It's got $60,000 of yogurt on it, ran out of fuel because he was in gambling. That's my personal opinion, of course. But when it ran out of fuel, reefers are extremely hard to start when they ran out of fuel. He had to go up to a service station, and here's the sales receipt, which he did paid with the card, and here's that receipt.
Okay, but that's for fuel, so I'm not...
Right, but it's not, you know...
And that just shows you that he had the card then
Exactly,
on that date.
that's all I'm trying to show.
Right.
Okay.
Right, well, I got that.
Then he got the reefer started, went on the road, and he actually took a frontage road because he needed to use the restroom. I don't have a problem with that. But he hit a tire that was in the road and knocked off 2 valves off of the tanks and came to a dead stop on the frontage road because it lost all the air, which operates the brake system. I got a mechanic.
Well, listen to me. Listen to me. That's not relevant to me. If you hired...
Okay. The only reason I was telling you is because... I was just going to show you the purpose of him having the card. Because the mechanic said unless he had a card, he wouldn't.
Card.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I told them that there may be a person there trying to use a stolen or lost credit card to please watch for it. And then I called him back, and he says, I did it. I don't know where my head was at.
Did you report him to the police?
Trucking company owner Michael Scharbach is accusing former employee Mark Harrell of theft after Mark allegedly made unauthorized charges on a company credit card.
Now, I believe he had the card. I believe he had the card, and all of the charges that were made on the card during the time of this trip he made, the ones that he made that because of his own negligence, well, that's your problem. You didn't hire a great driver. So you have to understand that I believe that he always had possession of the card. He may have stopped using it after this fiasco that he went on. But if he used it for anything that had to do with the truck, even his own negligence, that falls on you. So I want you to read out to me the charges that were made. So far, I have a few at the casino.
Okay, on 9/17, he was at the Windstar
Casino.
Yes, in Thackerville, Oklahoma. He drove my truck 70 miles from Fort Worth up to Thackerville to gamble.
How much was used at that casino?
The first draw was $313. The next draw was $416.50. And there was a total of 5 of those draws, so that I don't over-repeat myself, of that amount, $416.50.
And that was with the use of a PIN number, because they came out of an ATM.
That's correct.
Okay. And have you since changed your PIN number?
Well, as soon as he told me he lost the card, I called and canceled the card and reported it stolen. And then I called him back, and he admitted that he had done it.
Oh, on what date did you have this conversation with him?
On 9/17, when I noticed all this money was out of my account, and I was asking what the heck.
Would you tell me about that conversation, sir?
Sure.
Tell me about that conversation.
Well, when I first called him, I asked him, how come all this money's out of my account in Thackerville, Oklahoma? He says, I didn't do it. And I said, okay, do you have the card? He acted like he was looking in his wallet for the card. He says, nope, I don't have the card in my wallet. I must have lost it. I says, were you in Thackerville? He goes, yes, I was in Thackerville. So then I called the casino after I called Chase Bank and shut off the card, and I told them that there may be a person there trying to use a stolen or lost credit card. I did it. I don't know where my head was at. He only used the word. And then he asked if I could work with him and he could possibly pay it back over 3 months of driving.
And what did you tell him?
I told him I would call Chase Bank.
You told him goodbye?
Well, no, I couldn't do it right there because I would have had to chase the truck clear out into Texas.
Right, I understand that. You told him goodbye on the 22nd of September.
Right, when we went, my nephew and I went and picked up the truck.
Did you report him to the police?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So you're giving me PSA rules as opposed to being a thief?
Correct.
We both know you took his money, not for the truck, for you. And your excuse is, well, he did something wrong too. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? No, you don't.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michael Scharbach says former employee Mark Harrell used a company credit card to steal money from him.
Did you report him to the police?
I have not yet, because I thought I was going to get it paid back. I will be honest, Your Honor, I don't like to have somebody have to go to prison, but if I don't get justice from him, I will go to the police and they can get the videos.
It's not he is a thief and screwed up. Maybe he has an addiction. But somebody else who's contemplating hiring him should have the information available.
Right, and they're supposed to contact me by legal, and he didn't report that he had driven for me. He's hired onto the new
Number one, sir, you 1099 me. You don't even pay taxes on your employees.
That's right. You're a contract employer.
If you want to talk about morality here.
Mr. Harrell.
I actually did report. I actually do put him down on the application.
You're talking apples and oranges, sir. You're talking apples and oranges.
Okay.
You're talking about taking money that doesn't belong to you and gambling with it. Maybe it's a problem that you have. I don't know whether you have a problem with gambling or not. But if he didn't 1099 you when you worked for him, whether he says you're an independent contractor or not, did he pay you by check or cash?
Cash. He has no paperwork of any of his drivers.
Mr. Harrell, did you report it to the IRS?
Not really.
That's a question. Don't look over there. Don't look over there.
Well,
it's not his income. Listen to me. He paid you. Whether he paid you by check or cash, it's your responsibility to report your.
I'm not allowed to drive a truck as an independent contractor unless I own the truck, per FMCSA rules.
So you're giving me PSA rules as opposed to being a thief?
Well, I'm just saying that he's saying that I don't use him as a reference when I actually do put him down.
He said you took his money.
Correct.
If you say to me, listen, I did take his money. It was a mistake. I'm sorry I did it. But instead of saying I took his money, which you should say, because you clearly acknowledged it to him, and I'm looking at your eyes, sir, and we both know you took his money, not for the truck, for you. Your excuse is, well, he did something wrong, too. That's your excuse. Not something wrong to you. I mean, he gave you a job, which you took. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? No, you don't. All of the unauthorized charges, sir, that had nothing to do with the truck add up to what?
On
I'll do
those,
a round number.
I've got it on the claim. But one of the things I did on that claim to the court, he drove my truck 140 miles, wasted fuel. And so I charged $2 a mile.
Just what about the 4 days I sat shut down because your truck wasn't roadworthy?
Judge, don't speak. I'm not
the
speaking
DOT
to you.
inspected me in your vehicle
Don't
and shut
speak.
me down in the lost wages I got.
Don't speak, or else I'll just cut off your mic. You understand? I could.
Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now I'm going to answer you. I'm not giving you any mile. If you hired somebody, sir, who was disreputable and drove your truck so many miles in order for him to gamble, and you're charging him so much a mile, that's not part of my calculation.
Okay, that's fine.
That's your responsibility as an owner of a business. If you hire somebody that acts irresponsibly
I should have
while
just took it out of
driving
his
for
pay.
you, that's on you.
Right.
But if somebody used your card for their own pleasure, either on gambling or drinking or women or motels or whatever, that's not on you. That's on him.
Okay, I think that Chase Bank
Who should
gave
I
us the
remind
amount.
you? I'm speaking now. Now it's not time for you to speak, and I will use my little calculator here and hope for the best.
Well, I think Chase Bank. I have a letter here of how much it was, ma'am, right here from Chase Bank.
How much? How much was it?
What they took from the.
Never mind. I'm going to do $3,131. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're finished. Bye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Her dog got your dog in its mouth.
Was the threat obvious?
The defendant's dog has attacked other dogs before.
She says it was the other dog's fault.
Judge Judy.
Well, I felt like it was absolutely fair. He stole the money.
I lost about a week's worth of wages because his truck broke down and I was shut down by the DOT.
He complains about the truck not being worthy.
Faulty brakes, steering, suspension.
Well, he had driven 8,000 miles without anything being wrong with it.
Basically, it's not allowed in the state of California either.
He inspects it every day. I have the logs. He claims that he inspected and found nothing wrong.
I did lock my keys out of the car in Albuquerque. I did lose the car in Oklahoma.
If he had repaid it, I wouldn't be here in court, but there would still be an issue and he wouldn't be driving for me.
Which I did try to explain to him, and I left it in the ATM.
I think that I pity anybody that hires him.
Case of bad luck.
If you're going to hire drivers, make sure that you